You guys ready? All right, here we go. And today is episode 95. 95, baby. Yeah, baby. And it's April the 9th, 2019. The wisteria vines are in full bloom and it's everywhere and it's awful. If you don't know what wisteria is, it's this purple vine that grows up in the trees down here. When I was younger, we lived in Atlanta and there was vines everywhere called kudzu. And kudzu would root itself and re-root itself, and it would basically cover everything and engulf everything and take over everything. And it was a very leafy type vine. Wisteria, I think, has no purpose other than the fact that it looks pretty, so people go, "Ooh, I want some wisteria around my place." It is a ruthless vine. To me, it's like kudzu on steroids. It's kudzu that's pretty in the spring so that women specifically go, "I want to have some around my house." What they don't realize is that this stuff, this wisteria, it will throw a root in the ground and it will shoot off in a direction 20, 50 feet away and it'll grow another plant. It's like a central network nervous system of an awful plant that makes my sinuses just explode. It's awful. I mean, as soon as I start seeing the purple flower, I start feeling the effects of it. It is like being punched in the face. If you haven't been punched in the face, go out there and ask somebody to punch you in the face and you'll feel what it feels like, for me, when wisteria's out. Just like, yeah, hey, I'm listening to this stupid podcast, stuff I heard, and this guy Josh was like, "Hey, someone should punch you in the face so you could feel what it feels like." And without question, somebody will punch you in the face. I'm just saying. There you'll find the right person. If you can't find the right person, call me, look me up. You know, I'll do you a solid. So, anyway, wisteria's in the air. I'm really unhappy about that. But what I am happy about is that it is finally very comfortable to be outside with shorts and t-shirts. Now, I know this is short-lived, but I'm a spring and fall kind of person. I really enjoy the spring and fall. I enjoy some crisp morning air, and then as the day falls, it's nice and pleasant outside. For you folks on the West Coast, that's called San Diego. Here on the East Coast, there is no comparison. Maybe Florida, I guess. But Florida is so miserably hot in the summer. That's not even an equal. That's not even the same thing. I don't even know what would be the equivalent here on the East Coast. But anywho, we've had some nice brisk weather, and we've had a lot of rainstorms and thunderstorms. Today, I went on a route up to North Carolina through the woods and came across some roads that were completely flooded out. The road crews were actively putting up cones saying "road closed" as we drove past them. We did happen to drive across some water, and I was amazed at how much water had fallen so quickly. One of the weird things about our area is that they seem oblivious to the fact that rain falls from the sky and it has to go somewhere. There are, from what I'm told, certain rivers that they can't alter or expand or dredge because they're historical. Because some famous battle happened and somebody famous died or somebody defended a certain location, so they can't alter anything about that area. So it becomes a pinch point where when water rushes to it from upstream, suddenly it has nowhere to go but where people live. So until they decide that, hey, this is a national emergency situation and we need to alter this and screw history, let's fix this problem, then we're going to keep having this problem. But that has to happen. That has to happen enough that people decide they've had enough and they vote for it. So hopefully that will happen, because I guarantee you no one is going to foot the bill to raise all of the roads 10 feet off the ground from what they currently are. So the only other fix, in my opinion, is to fix the rivers. Fix the streams, fix the creeks, figure out where water's supposed to go and make it go that way. That's it. That's all there is. You know, I didn't watch the movie Waterworld, but I imagine that Kevin Costner would be on my side. I'm just saying. So anyway, this time in April is always a big event. We've had my stepson turned 26, and we had a birthday thing with him and his girl and her daughter and his son, and it was a nice little get-together, and they make a cute family, and I'm really rooting for them. Don't tell them I said that. I'm really rooting for them, and I hope that it works out, and they seem to be good together, and they just, you know, when you're young, you make a lot of stupid mistakes, and you can't seem to get out of your own way sometimes, but eventually you do grow up. You know, they say that your brain is not fully developed until you're 25. Well, I hope that's true. I hope he's at that point, and I hope that she's at that point soon. And you suddenly start to realize what's important in life, and you start putting stock in things that are important in life, and you start planning for, hey, you know, we've been around for a little while. Let's make this a go. Let's actually say I do's and whatnot. Not that I'm saying that they should get married, but I mean, I wouldn't be unhappy if they did. I'm just saying. They don't listen to this, so nobody cares. Anyway, but it was nice to see the kids and get to, you know, hang out with them and eat dinner with them and whatnot. My wife's mother had a birthday this past Sunday. She's down in Georgia. Hey, Kate, I know you probably aren't listening to this either, but happy birthday. My mother's birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday, Mom. I'm actually probably going to have lunch with her tomorrow, and I can tell her in person. And my youngest boy's birthday is tomorrow. He turns 22, Jacob. I haven't seen Jacob in quite a while, and Jacob's going through this thing. Both my sons have done it. My oldest boy, Draven, went through it for probably 5 years or so. And Jacob's been doing it now a couple of years where they've had enough of Dad telling them what to do. Now they're trying to figure out their own life. But the sad part is that he's not figuring out his own life. He's instead become a barnacle on the life that is his mother and his grandmother. As far as I can tell, he's not doing anything with his life. And he's 22 now. Now, 22 is a big deal for me because of the fact that I was 22 when he was born. So, for me, it's kind of a big deal in the fact that, you know, at his age, I had 2 kids, I was in the Marine Corps, I was paying bills, had a wife. Granted, she wasn't going to be my wife forever. That was wife number 1. But, I mean, I was living my life. I was doing things, I was achieving things, I was trying, I was making an effort. And he's not making an effort. He is stagnant. He's doing nothing, which is depressing for me as a dad. I mean, I talked about this recently with somebody. I said, I think I broke my kids. I think I worked too hard the years that they were developing and learning and watching and paying attention, and they saw me struggling to stay awake, and I would come home a lot of times where I had rubbed my legs raw, where they rubbed together all day, sweating in the heat, and I had blood running down my legs from open sores, and it was hard. It was a drudgery. It was something to overcome, and I did it for them. I did it to take care of them. I did it so that they could have food to eat, a place to live, and air conditioning, and all that fun stuff. I did it for me too. I mean, I wanted better than what I had, and I had a job that allowed me to do that. The flip side of that is that it was a very, very physical job, and I had to be very physical in order to do it in time. And maybe I broke them. Maybe they watched me do that and they thought, you know what, I don't want anything to do with what Dad's going through, ever. I don't want to work that hard. I don't want to be that miserable. I don't want to do any of that crap. I don't care about any of this stuff. Maybe I broke their governor. Maybe I broke their filter of what life should be. I don't know. I hope not. I hope that isn't the case. But it very well could be. A buddy of mine told me once, he said, I'm envious of you in the fact that you've gone through so much and you've come out the other side, and you seem very positive. Like everything that happens, you go, all right, well, let's figure it out. And he's like, you know, I haven't had those types of situations. And when things have gone wrong in my life, I've sort of panicked and I didn't have the answers and I didn't know what to do. And I said, guess what? None of us know what to do. But you figure it out because you have to. And when you're a parent, you have to figure it out for the sake of the kids and for the sake of you. And you're like, this ball still has to roll, because whether I do anything or not, they're going to want to eat and they need a place to sleep. So if I don't provide those things, then all of this comes to a crashing halt. So anything that's happened in our family and in our lives, whenever we're faced against an obstacle, one of the reasons I married my wife was she says, hey, don't worry about it, we'll figure it out. Since we started dating, she said that. And it was unusual to have somebody on my side. That being said, my wife and I are getting ready to celebrate our 14th anniversary. It's coming up. 14 years ago, we said our I wills. I tell people that and they go, you said your what? We got married in Jamaica, and we had a Jamaican reverend marry us. And he said, down here, we don't say I do when we get married, because I do in our language means I'm done. I've finished the task. I've done the thing. I'm no longer going to pursue it. Down here, when we get married and we ask the vows, we say I will, because it means I will continue to do this, and I will strive to do this, and I will make an effort from now on to continue to whatever the situation is. And we fell in love with that idea, and we thought that was really sweet and thoughtful and romantic in a way. And so we said our I wills 14 years ago. And listen, marriage is always work. Marriage is always something you have to pursue, and you have to nurture, and you have to realize that you are both different people. You have different desires and different wants, and you have to sort of learn to be on each other's side in a way, and also give each other space. Like you can't be crowded around each other all the time. Like sometimes you just need to be alone. Sometimes you need some alone time. Sometimes you need to be able to have guy time or girl time or whatever it is. You need that once in a while. You need to reset, and you also need time together. I had a friend of mine once who was telling me that her and her husband were having a rough patch. And she's like, I don't know what we're going to do. They had a young kid. She said, I don't know what we're going to do. We can't seem to connect. And just like something's not there that used to be there. And I said, well, what did y'all do when y'all were dating? What did you like to do? And she said, well, we used to hang out by the river, and we would camp out, and we would fish, and it was always fun. And I was like, okay, so why don't you do that? Why don't you get your mom to babysit or find somebody to babysit? And, tell your husband, hey, let's go out and let's do this. Let's camp out and let's have our time and let's enjoy our little moment together, because we need to rekindle this. And so they did, and it worked out. And I thought, that's true really with anything, though. I mean, people evolve, granted. I would say that after 14 years of marriage, the things that my wife and I did when we first met are different than what we do now. But you evolve with each other, and you grow together, and you become different people together. And those people, you have a choice. Those people can either learn to love each other even in their change and grow with them, or you grow apart. It's just that simple. Every cell in your body is completely exchanged every 7 years. So in 7 years' time, you typically are not the same person you were 7 years ago. Every complete cell of your body is different. That's why your taste buds change. That's why you eat food. Later on you're like, oh, I never eat this before. Now I really like it. Okay, well, there's a reason. I think that's why they used to say that in relationships there was the 7-year itch. Because after 7 years, people's apparently their minds would wander or their eyes would wander, and they'd start pursuing other people. I think that's just a bunch of hooey, but there may be some science to it. Maybe the science of the relationship changes. Maybe the interest changes. Maybe they weren't supposed to be together to start with, and they just settled for whatever reason. I don't know. But the good news is it's not over. You have time. You always have time. As long as you're breathing, you have time. You have time to figure it out. Speaking of figuring things out, this is the Stuff I Heard podcast. Let's talk about stuff I heard. How about it? This past week I listened to, you're gonna be surprised. I listened to Joe Rogan. I know right now people are gasping. Really? Really? You listened to Joe Rogan? Really? Yep, sure did. Listen to Joe Rogan talk to Gabrielle Reece. This came out this past Wednesday, episode 1277. Gabrielle Reece is a world-renowned athlete, TV personality, New York Times best-selling author, and model. Together with her husband Laird Hamilton, by the way, they launched an all-new encompassing fitness program called XPT. Now, When I was a young man, Gabrielle Reece was a poster on my wall because she was smoking hot. She was an Olympic volleyball player. She was impressive to say the least. And she got married to Laird Hamilton, who was a big wave surfer. Now, for a young boy living in South Carolina, the idea of a Adonis-looking guy surfing waves that are six-story buildings high was impressive. I was like, good for her, good for him too. Yeah, you guys are gonna have like amazing kids that are gonna glow in the dark with their beauty and be able to leap tall buildings in a single bound, and be on the cover of every magazine and whatnot. And they raised these 3 kids together, and she's on the episode talking to Joe about their life together and what they've learned and things they're learning, and as they're growing old together, things they're learning about their relationship with each other, and how they're figuring out their life together. And it's fascinating. Listen, she's a good conversationalist. It's a good listen. Go check it out. You'll dig it. The only thing I don't understand is the XPT thing that they were doing. I didn't click on the link, but apparently there's some kind of workout regimen that Laird has come up with about lifting weights in a pool. Supposedly it's good on your joints, and it requires a lot of your lungs, so there's a lot of cardio involved. I don't know. She says that he had hip replacement and that she had a knee replaced, and she said they can work out in the pool, and it's great. It's a good workout, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know. Go check it out. It might be something you might be into. And then Saturday, episode 1278, Joe did an interview with Kevin Hart. I did not listen to this. I actually watched it on YouTube. For those of you who don't know, he has a YouTube page. And it's a 2-hour and 13-minute conversation. Kevin Hart just has a new special out called Irresponsible. I talked about it on the last podcast. Not my favorite, but I like Kevin Hart. I like him as a man. I like him as a comedian. I like him as a person. He does a lot of positive things, and he talks about that on the show. He talks about the learning aspect of becoming a good husband and a good father, and failing at times, and kind of learning his way through the process. So go check that out. That's a really good listen. And I'm currently listening to Dr. Drew After Dark. He is talking to Andy Dick, episode number 8. I'm not very far into it so far. But Andy Dick is a wild card kind of a guy. There's no telling what he's going to say. If he's saying it for shock value or if he's saying it because it's true, he is just a crazy guy. So, anywho. I went back on Netflix and rewatched Joe Coy's special. My wife came home the other day and was showing me things on her phone about Joe Coy. She's like, "Have you seen this guy? He's really funny." I'm like, "No kidding." By the way, he's on Netflix. After we finish this little meal, I was thinking to myself, I'm going to cue this up and you're going to be like, ha ha ha. And that's kind of what happened. Joe Coy is a great comedian, and his special is better than Kevin Hart's. I'm just saying. Even though he had a fraction of the people in the audience. It's a good special. I want to talk a second about a show that I watched that's interesting to me. It's called Love, Death, Robots. It's an animated show on Netflix. There are multiple episodes, and each episode is anywhere from 10 minutes to 15 minutes long. They're really short. But they're all like miniature movies. There's a lot that happens in that time frame. And if you've ever watched Black Mirror on Netflix, it is like Black Mirror. See, to me, Black Mirror is our future. Black Mirror is literally the image in your phone when you look back at your phone and it's not turned on. Not turned on as soon as I turn it around. When it's dark and you see your reflection, that's the Black Mirror. Okay, so the show Black Mirror is a lot about what life is like just one tiny invention away from where life gets really crazy. and how technology can be used to make life super crazy in sort of a Twilight Zone-ish, scary kind of way. Okay? Love, Death, Robots is like that, plus the fact that it's animated. They can physically show you so much more. So there are no limits to the imagination of how far in the future some of these events are. I mean, we're talking craziness. Just crazy concepts. And a lot of them are disturbing. A lot of them are violent. A lot of them have nudity, sex, decapitation. There's two that are not violent. But they are very thought-provoking. Each episode is very thought-provoking. Even ones that I thought, what's going on here? I find myself thinking about days later. Kind of, Black Mirror to me is like that. You know, if anybody watched the last season of Black Mirror, this is not a spoiler. I mean, Jesus, it's been out for over a year. There's an episode, and it starts off really different from all the others. It's a girl. Right away you recognize her. She's some famous actress. I don't know who she is. And she's looking on her phone at likes for something, and she's like, oh look, so-and-so got so many likes, and she's showing pictures and she's flipping through them, and oh, I got all these likes, oh, this is great, oh, this is super, I'm gonna take a picture of what I'm eating for lunch, oh look, and I got likes for my lunch, oh look. And then she's bumping into people, and you're like, what the fuck, what am I watching? And then she's, you know, interacting with folks who their likes aren't there, or she has an interaction with someone and they're looking at them like, well, aren't you going to do my likes on your phone? They're constantly having to compliment each other on everything on their social media because it has a direct impact on everything else in their life, including their job status, their position in the company, their position in their community, where they can live, how they can live, what their meals cost, everything, where they can physically eat. Everything is tied into this. And it is chaos. I mean, because at a certain point, things go off the rails and hers plummets. Her rating plummets. Things go wrong. And I watched the episode, and half the episode I'm thinking, what am I watching? Are you serious? This is an episode? And then it got crazy. And then I went, oh my God. I did not see them go in this direction. I have thought about that episode more than any other episode that season. I mean, there's one about a soldier that, you know, he sees people as aliens and he kills. Anyway, that episode, though, with the likes, I've thought about that more than anything else because of our current day society and the way that we do things and the way that we interact socially with each other. Hey, I put a picture on Instagram. Why didn't you like my picture? I liked yours. Why didn't you like mine? I had a conversation with somebody this past weekend at church, and she was saying that, you know, I got the thing on there and I just put pictures that I want to put up for me. I figure my family might look at them, and it's a way I can share what's going on in my family. And that's a healthy outlook. There's a lot of people, though, that don't feel that way. There's a lot of people that is their entire world. I got to post every day. I got to post pictures of this. I got to go show everybody that I'm at the gym. I got to show everybody that I'm eating healthy. I got to show everybody that my view is better than your view, and my life is better than your life, and look at my cute boyfriend, or my cute dog, or my cute whatever, and boy, aren't my toes adorable. Oh look, here's a picture of my butt. And that's their life. Now listen, for some people it's a good hustle. For some people they're actually making a living doing that. Good for you. You figured out a way that nobody else has figured out how to make a living. You know, for whatever reason, either God gifted you with the ability to just look pretty on camera, or handsome, if the case may be with a young man. And you're able to put segments of that on a social media platform and somehow make a living from it. Good for you. You figured it out. You figured out something that the rest of us have no idea how to do. The crazy part, though, is that kids are watching this and absorbing it and thinking, well, that's what I'll do when I grow up. I'll be an Instagram model. I'll post things about my life nonstop. Is that healthy? I mean, I'm asking, is that healthy? Because I know if I posted crap that I thought when I was 20 years old, and I look back at that when I was 30 or 40, I'd be embarrassed. Kevin Hart talks about that on the podcast. He talks about how he said something 9 years ago in a joke that he thought was funny, that he thought would get a reaction and a laugh, and instead it pissed a lot of people off. And he's been nonstop apologizing for it since. And he said I'm a different person 9 years ago. I was saying that on stage thinking, oh, this will get a laugh. I wasn't thinking about the social issues. I wasn't thinking about how it would make people angry one day. I was trying to make a joke. And it was, I realize now that it hurt people's feelings, and I'm sorry. And he said that over and over again. I'm sorry. I can't take it back now, but I can say that I'm sorry. I don't feel that way anymore. This was a thing that I said to make people laugh. And at the time it did. If you go back and watch Eddie Murphy's Raw special, he talks a lot about being in a leather outfit and how gay dudes were looking at his butt and how he felt like, I can feel myself getting hot, so I got to walk around so you guys don't get me too hot up here because you're burning like a hole in me or something with your eyes. And it was all very homophobic. But that was the joking at the time. That was how a lot of movies were. I mean, was it Ace Ventura, Pet Detective? The big joke at the end is about how the person who was the main culprit they were looking for was a girl who was a guy. It's a trans person. That was the joke. Let's make fun of the person because of this. And back then it was shocking. And back then it was, oh my God. No one's called for Jim Carrey to apologize. Or for the writers of that movie to apologize. I even feel guilty even talking about it now because someone's going to get pissed off about it and be like, you're right. We should have called to somebody. Yeah, okay. Good. Just keep that going. Just keep eating everything. Just listen, folks. Sometimes you just gotta let stuff go. The past is the past. Learn from it, move forward. That's all we can do. Okay? I get the fact that we're all growing and we're all figuring this out. But I can't help but wonder, are we the only ones doing this in the world? Is America the only place doing this? And is it because we have too much free time? This whole effort about using technology to help our lives get better. Are we creating our own problem by creating too much time on our hands? Part of the hope was that, like the book 1984, or not 1984, what's the one? Kurt Vonnegut's Player Piano. Is that we can create a better life and we can help each other get better and we can improve our society to a point where we can relax and enjoy the innovativeness of our creations. But in the process, we end up putting ourselves out of work and we don't know what to do, so we have no choice but to anarchy. Because if we destroy everything, then we can start all over. And we do. Just like a player piano rolls. So, something to think about. But go check out Love, Death, Robots. I highly recommend it. If you enjoy watching things that disturb you in cartoon form, there's futuristic... there's a lot of stuff that's futuristic. There's a lot of stuff that is amazing. There's one very non-violent one. It's very funny, actually. 3 robots. I think it's like the 3rd episode where they come into contact with a cat, and it's funny. It's funny. It's a funny episode. Even though there's like a social issue in the background that they're trying to get across. The commentary between the 3 robots and the interaction with the cat is hilarious. So, anyway. I'm going to get off of here. I hope everybody's doing well, and I hope everybody's enjoying this wonderful weather. And that's it. Y'all take care, and we'll do this again at the end of the week. Bye now. Cue that cow, baby. Moo.